projects at SAP, a very successful one, and not the only one, of course, but I would like to give you some deep insights within the next 25 minutes and share some best practices maybe with you. So, what was the action item which I had to fulfill in 2010? I am a long time now with SAP, maybe unusual for American people, but in Germany it's not so unusual. Actually, I work for this company since 20 years, and I had a lot of various positions, and the last 5 years I spent in the cloud organization. So in 2007, SAP launched the first cloud solution, SAP Business by Design, and within the last 5 years I was responsible to drive the roll-in activities. Roll-in means for us to coordinate the customer requirements, kind of, and ensure that we know what we have to do for the next release. So it was an entire program at that point of time, and in 2010 I had a new challenge. The management said we have to adapt to the lean development model which we have in development, and please redesign the roll-in process. The first years, you know, consultants were on customer side and brought back the requirements, but the customer numbers keep getting higher and higher, so we had to prepare for volume. On the other side, the organization was quite small, so we had to stay scalable, and very soon it was clear that we have to go new ways. Development requests, as we had them in the past, were not state-of-the-art anymore. So we decided to go for an ideation management tool. So the target was clear. And the first question which we asked ourselves was, what is important to our crowd when we go this way? And when I talk about our crowd, I'm talking about our customers. So it's a clear defined crowd in this case. And when you ask customers, or when you work together with SAP customers, it becomes clear very fast that they would like to influence the SAP. They would like to share their requirements and their demands with us to influence the planning, the next release backlog, to drive new functionalities for the next delivery. Also, they like to be visible. I mean, if they are engaged, they also like to be visible. They usually are members in user groups, for example, and together with other customers, again, they influence the SAP, and they are very keen on transparency. So they tend to claim that we are not open enough, that we don't share roadmaps early enough, and so on. So they really would like to know what are we working on and what is coming next. Of course, as in most relationships, they expect reliability. So once we say that we are working on a new feature which they can expect for the next release, we should not change our mind anymore. We should stick on it and deliver it. And at the end, it's a trustful partnership which is expected. So I would like to take you on a short road to success, a journey, what happened throughout the last 2 years. And then at the end, I will summarize the experiences in some success factors and best practices, maybe, which are interesting for you to adapt. So I mentioned already that the action item was given in 2010. So the first thing when we decided that we go for an ideation management tool, the first thing we did was an evaluation. We heard yesterday you can do it or also today, you can do it in a lot of different ways. And also me as a project leader, to be honest, the first thing I thought, I use what we have. So the centralized way. As you can imagine, SAP has 60,000 people working for. We have more than 200,000 customers serving business application software for more than 20 industries, for the largest corporations until the mid-sized companies. So you can imagine we have ideation tools. To be honest, several even. But when I evaluated the different possibilities, there were quite a lot of showstoppers. For example, the central one, it was hard to imagine that we participate in there because those huge projects, they get away from your agility and flexibility. If I would have needed a new report, which is only for my purposes, and others would not need it maybe, I would have to apply for it, and I might get it next release. Not even talking about a new field or new layouts, you know, just the whole usability. It's hard to align with a lot of other project leads and different requirements. So flexibility was a big topic, and also, of course, a company like SAP, security, very big issue. To be honest, there were also quite a lot of colleagues in our corporation which were not so convinced about going for crowdsourcing. And actually, crowdsourcing, I didn't even hear at that point of time. I didn't even know that I was doing crowdsourcing. So they feared that this is dangerous because competitors might see this information, for example, because the product was still very young and immature, so you can imagine there were still a lot of gaps at that point of time. So this is also one reason why our community is not open as you might expect it. It's a closed community for dedicated people participating. So at the end, we found a great tool for us, which is the solution from IdeaScale. You got a preview yesterday what they offer regarding gamification, but they offer a lot more, and their expertise is a good ideation management tool. So of course, I was still on the road convincing management and internal stakeholders, so it was clear we do a pilot first. So we started the pilot. We did internal marketing, we designed the processes, how we wanted to work. We had to do some customization, of course. We did some changes of the strings because we had a German community where we started with for the German-speaking countries. And also the strings, I mean, I wanted to speak the language of the customers. So I would like to give you a short impression how this looks like. The layout is very much aligned to the look and feel our customers know from the business solution. We explain here how everything works. When a customer creates a new idea, it's very easy. You create a title, you create a description, and if you type in the title, there is already a search whether a similar idea with those keywords exists already, and the ideation tool suggests you ideas where you can then maybe add a comment or add your vote because you want to support it, but you avoid a lot of duplicates at the end. But because it's also about managing the big data at the end, yeah? You want to be focused on ideas which belong together. Here on the right-hand side, you see an example how we describe also the process for the customer to make clear what happens in which status, because we have various phases. We have ideas which are new, they are in review, then they are planned or in progress, and sometimes they are in some certain point of time they are delivered. So we are very open to share with the customers what happens in each phase. Another small impression how nice and usable this tool is. Once the customers are working in the platform, they can review all ideas, they can search for ideas, they can see the very newest ideas which were maybe added since they just had entered the platform or the forum last time. They can check out the most popular ones here. And they can also go for a category. A category is a kind of clustering regarding topics. In our case, it's business functionality like purchasing, CRM, and so on, because usually a user does not work in the entire system. So he might be a financial accounting expert and would then like to see all ideas in the financial accounting category. So it's very easy to find your way. And for moderators, of course, we decided that we have a moderator per category. So those are the product experts, and they know at any point of time what the customers are asking for in their area of responsibility. So a product expert can easily enter financial management and look for all ideas dependent on the date they were entered or maybe the number of votes, and he can then enter via the moderation, change statuses, or even ask questions back. So one very important argument for going this way was that it is a great chance for us to bring the customers closer to the development organization. This was something we lost in between. This is how SAP got successful in the past, but there were a few years where we kind of lost the customer closeness and customer centricity, and we are very focused on living this again. And of course, a developer has no chance to go a lot outside. Yeah? There are people like consultants, salespeople who also bring back the feedback. But this is an excellent possibility to collaborate with the customers directly and even share specifications and concepts and get feedback via a community like this. We prepared already for the next rollout, which was China and the United States. 2 additional communities, again some customization and so on, and we rolled this out in summer. And as you can imagine, if you have 3 communities, there is the need to do a good reporting, because you always have management and some internal stakeholders which might not be so involved but still want to know what's going on. So we prepared a very good reporting where we took the information, which is also very easy to take the information with just 2 clicks out of the tool and do whatever you want with it. Take the existing reports or take the information and consolidate it with your own reporting tools, which we did. And here you see very nicely all ideas consolidated via all forums, how many in which status, how many did we deliver, how about the look into one application, CRM, how many did we receive, how many are planned, how many are delivered. So it's a very good tool to also drive activities, you know, and employees to really look into it and take it into account. Okay, so now this was 9 months going on, and in fall 2011 we decided to have a workshop together with our vendor IdeaScale in Palo Alto. So we met and we discussed some customer specific requirements which we thought we need at that point of time. One, for example, was private messaging, just like you know it from Facebook. We wanted to have the possibility to get in touch with customers not only via posting a comment, which is visible to everybody, but privately. Why? Well, there is just this very simple reason. To give you an example, when an idea develops throughout the cycle, there is this point of time where we might have a specification already, or where we want to work deeper on concepts. So we would like to invite customers who contributed to this idea, because we know this is what they want, to workshops. And we do this in a private kind of space. We send out an invitation asking, would you like to participate? And this is, for example, very motivating for them. They feel they have influenced something, and they appreciate it very much that we ask them again for more details or review maybe a concept and go with us the next step. Also, and this is another key to success, remember this later, we had a new process which we had to design, because we wanted to roll out the forum to a new community, which are the universities. more than 100 universities worldwide at that point of time were using Business by Design. So here we had a new community who are potentially feedback providers. But are the students skilled enough to give feedback, or do they maybe also give feedback due to missing skills? Yeah, because they are not really using the software, they learned about the software. So we decided this might not be scalable for us. If more than 100 universities, just imagine the number of students, start to give feedback, this is not scalable for a rather small organization. So we changed some settings in the tool, and we were now able to have 2 quality gates. So within one tool, a lecturer sees all ideas of his students, and he can approve it when he thinks this is something which is validated, kind of. He would like SAP to know about it. This is not a bug. And then we have the University Competence Center as a second quality gate, and only if both quality gates are approved, SAP Solution Management receives the feedback and incorporates it then. So just as an example, what can happen in a project like this, I mean, this was something we did not think of at the beginning, but just ensure that you choose a tool which is flexible enough to do also changes like this. And I'm glad IdeaScale was open enough to also push new functionality which was needed for us. So when we wrote out the information of new features and functions, we also sent out emails like this to our customers. New features within the Ideas Forum, use the new messaging functionality, you have new sorting criteria, and other examples to ensure that the customers are well informed how to use the forum. So let's talk about 2012, the next year. One of the highlights in this year, right at the beginning, was the fact that we integrated IdeaScale into our solution. So I just gave you a small screenshot to give you an example. Here in the Help Center, you, as a customer, you can create a ticket for service and support. But to ensure that they do not only create tickets, but that they give us also their feedback for their ideas, we placed the link to the Ideas Forum right next to it. We have a place where we have the several communities which are valuable for Business by Design users. Also here, they can jump right into the Ideas Forum. And what I like even best is a mashup integrated with the most important information, my ideas, new ideas, delivered ideas, and only if it's worth it, they go to the community. They can monitor everything right in here. Low effort, very usable, very much accepted. In February, it was our birthday, so we had Ideas Forum 1 year, and we celebrated more than 400 users, more than 700 ideas, round about 1,800 comments, and more than 5,000 votes. We celebrated with our customers, we shared our success, and we continued with another change. We decided to have a consolidation. Instead of having 3 forums, we consolidated and migrated the Chinese one in the global one. And we prepared for a new feature, which is the most important one for a global player like SAP. It's the translation of the community. A translation feature which is not offering multilingual features of the tool, but is translating the ideas. So when you're logged in as a German, you can create German ideas, and they are automatically translated for an English-speaking person. So this is really something which I think is a great step of an ideation tool for a global company like SAP. I brought you an example. This is a German idea. This is an English idea down here. And you see this one is translated, so it says automatically translated. You can always view the original. If you're German speaking, most of them can talk English, so they can always check. And you can, of course, also review as a translator and do the changes and improve the automatic translation by manual work. Okay, So the last one after we merged, that was last year, so we are working in one consolidated forum now. I would like to share some figures with you because I think this is something which proves success, right? If you look at the members and the ideas, votes and comments, how they increased throughout the last 2 years. As I mentioned already, I'm very proud of comments and votes also, because this really shows collaboration. I don't want always new ideas, but when I have a high number of votes, this is really a proof concept to bring something into the release backlog. So let's summarize the key success factors for a project like the one we did. I think it's very important when you start out that you have a clear target. We heard this already a couple of times yesterday and also today. It seems just normal, but be sure, I mean, don't ask a crowd just for feedback. Ask if you know what you will do with the feedback. Of course, you need some budget. I mean, the budget is not so high to manage the crowdsourcing, but in my example, I also have to ensure that we have budget, investment budget, to execute the ideas which we collect, at least a good number of them, because otherwise my customers won't be happy. You need some resources and definitely management commitment to go this way. Of course, a tool which suits your requirements. Ensure to educate the people who are involved. In our example, all those moderators, solution experts were very well educated. I mean, it has to be clear what is in progress, what is the status in progress. Everybody has the right understanding and the same understanding. We had a good communication plan, and one important thing is also the follow-up activities, like the invitations to workshops and, you know, sharing some concepts and specifications and get feedback again. So really that there's movement in the community. We constantly did continuous improvements, like the examples I showed to you. But most important, please deliver on your ideas. If you don't deliver, your crowd won't be happy with you. So you remember the beginning, the first slide, when I shared with you what I said at the beginning, what the crowd is expecting from us? I think the way we did this project, one big reason why it was so successful, and by the way, why is it successful? From my perspective, it's successful because there's no day without an idea, without a comment, without votes and so on. There is really movement in there. We keep it running, yeah, and we keep them motivated, and they don't get any incentives. No money, nothing really. An invitation to a workshop, maybe an invitation to stay on stage and talk about their experience, but it's not so easy. We were even asked by the community regarding incentives, but in Germany it's really hard to do things like this due to tax regulations and so on. You have to be very careful. So the incentive is that they can influence, that they can give our feedback, that they can influence the development. Working with the crowd is a big responsibility, I think, but it's even a bigger chance. So I invite you to take this chance. And I would like to close with this slide, which is a quote from Benjamin Disraeli, who was a prime minister in the 19th century in UK and a writer, by the way. And he said, "The fool wonders and the wise man asks." And this is already in the 19th century, so I wish you success and good luck for your crowdsourcing projects. Thank you.